Please be seated.
Came home being told that there was not going to be marching band this year. Why? Every person who speaks about the passion they have. That the kids spent 9 hours for 8 days outside marching with their masks on. I'm sorry. Orange County did it, but I'm here today because on Friday, Orange County revoked it. To not take away and diminish one program over another. They're talking about Black Lives Matter, saying that it's not okay to put one person over the other. That's what you did here.
Since when is Black Lives Matters considered a state standard for curriculum? Our children are going to school to learn about history, math, English, biology, not about current events. But that comes from the home. If the Hernando County School Board decides, after their due diligence, to approve the BLM be discussed in the classroom, then at least approve a patriotic organization to have the same amount of time with our students, our children, and our grandchildren.
Where children are being allowed to organize and protest, like the gentleman was saying, organized protests that come to our schools dressed in black, purposefully sending a message, and the message that is attached to that garb and that wear with what's going on in current events, it's dangerous, it's disturbing, and it's unfair, and it's not what I want in my school system for my children when they go.
One woman posted that she felt that parents, white parents, should take their kids out of schools, put them in private schools, and let the black families deal with it on their own. And that comment I watched with horror in 2020 get a bunch of likes before it was finally taken down. They aren't willing to keep accepting the general dysfunction that older generations have created. They're watching us, they're taking notes, and too many adults are not living up to their expectations of simple, basic maturity and decency that they should be able to see from us. We should be the change that we want to see in the world.
Well, what about the gang violence and the number of deaths in cities like Chicago, New York, LA? Black Lives Matter organization doesn't address that. And if you were to say, well, what about the black man in Milwaukee who was assassinated in his lawn chair? They don't talk about him either because he had different political views. What if someone were to ask one of the teachers, what does that mean as far as abortion goes? Because according to the CDC, the federal data says we're losing hundreds of thousands of black lives annually. And yet, there's no mention of that on the Black Lives Matter organization website either.
It's just important that we understand the difference between a march and a protest. If it's a march, it's Martin Luther King. If it's a protest, no telling who.
And we'll be looking at it. Because standing in front of our flag, we all one. The Lord created us one. When I heard the Black Lives Matter, I never understand what does that mean first. I'm more black. You have to understand. I'm already come from a family, half black, half white. I'm more darker than anybody. My religion is totally different than anyone else here in this room. I wish everybody look what's going on to the other side of the world. The first thing is hating, they hate in the school. When you hate the school, it's no more future. I came here like 10 years ago. I became American citizen. I'm really proud. Why? Because I always believe somebody's watching what I'm doing. And that's true. I'm working hard to be part of the American team. I love this country. I love everyone else. I will be father soon. What are you gonna say? There is no more distortion. We're all equal ones united to make this country great again.
As you all know, a certain Republican politician has made numerous statements attacking Hernando County schools, most recent of which has targeted a student-organized event at Weeki Wachee High School. This event that was peaceful and involved students wearing black clothing and bananas to show their support for Black Lives Matter. Ngoglia, is that how you say his name?
also mentions that one of the school's administrators wore black the day of the protest and claims that students who didn't participate were bullied for not being, in his words, down with the cause. I also saw his supporters attacking the school I love and my peers who are, in fact, children on the post. I understand that parents are concerned with the well-being of their children, but growing up, no one ever asked me what age I would first be called a racial slur. Why should we shield children from the realities of racism, even when actions are peaceful? I am positive that Ngoglia's attacks on our schools are intended to deceive his supporters into thinking that our schools are not safe learning environments, and are also attempts to fabricate excuses to defund our schools by using false claims of indoctrination.
I am saddened that there continues to be ongoing resistance to students and teachers being allowed to tell other students and teachers that their lives matter. This is an extremely vocal minority that follows a local politician on social media who seeks to remain relevant by playing off of political polarization. This politician is not a teacher, has never been a teacher, and knows nothing about teaching. He manipulates his social media followers to create disturbance and cause chaos where none is necessary. The problem is that they are being blown up by irrational fears. Students chose to quote-unquote act up by wearing black, a peaceful way to express themselves. Adhering to teenage slang, act up, the response was to call more law enforcement, not actually to facilitate healthy discussion.
I just want to know where all these people with all their black friends, where's all their black friends? Did they come and support them and what they're saying? All their black friends? Yeah. Okay, just wanted to get that in there because I want to see where all their black friends are that are supporting this. Thank you very much.
It's not the teacher's responsibility. If you're going to hang a Black Lives Matter flag in the classroom, you better let them hang the Confederate flag in the classroom then too, because that's all politics. You know, let's take it a step further. Why don't we hang a Nazi flag in the classroom? Because that's politics. Politics that nobody wants to have in the classroom, though. If you're going to allow children to be indoctrinated with Black Lives Matter, and you're going to allow them to be indoctrinated with Hitler Youth politics, because that's one right-wing extremism to the left-wing extremism. If you're going to allow extremism in classrooms, then we're going to allow all of it. Because as I said, classrooms are not for politics. These teachers that are coming into these classrooms to influence our children, they need to be fired.
No, I think you're losing what the role of government is, and that is one of the problems that is in our education system. The teachers' unions have all this immunity. If they do a horrible job, no one faces any consequences. I know if I walk in to interview one of my employees and say, you better support Donald Trump or you're fired, I'm out of a job. But yet they can put up Black Lives Matter and ask all the students for their opinion, and guess what? They get alienated. The students that say they don't agree get alienated, made fun of by other students. Is that right? Is that correct? That teacher needs to be fired. Teachers' unions need to quit controlling the schools, and people need to start holding them accountable.
I grew up enjoying school. My children grew up enjoying school. These kids don't. This is part of the reason. These kids can't breathe. They have no friends. They have no normal youth. This is why they're coming out angry. This is not normal. This has to stop. As far as I know, this is not a law in Florida.
Indentations underneath the eyes. Rashes. The indentations across the forehead. These are real side effects. The dizziness, the nausea. 2 hours. I've already got a headache the size of Texas right now.
Y'all pick and choose what rules y'all want to imply and not imply. It's okay for all of us to sit next to each other, but we got to wear a mask? Ooh, where's that right? I mean, there's a picture of all the volleyball students shoulder to shoulder listening to DeSantis talk, and his kids are running there playing with him with no mask on. Let's give a speech to students, no mask on. Oh, that's okay. Yeah, but if I sit here with a mask slightly up, you're going to call me out 3 or 4 times.
The kids are wearing masks all day long, but they go to lunch, they sit on a table, they take the mask off, they're drinking, they're eating. Is COVID does it not happen during lunchtime? Every day she comes home complaining of headaches. That's not right. I've talked to numerous parents, their kids, they're having rashes, they're having headaches. She gets no mask breaks throughout the day. At the very least, while you reconsider this mask mandate, they should be getting breaks. If she is in a classroom with 8 students and 30 desks, what is the reason that she has to wear a mask? I'm asking right now, if you guys could go ahead and review this. Do the children deserve to have the same treatment as Ron DeSantis' kids? Can anyone answer that question? Why were his children allowed at one of our schools, and why are they not susceptible to the same rules that we have to follow? Can I ask that question? Mr. Stratton, could you please answer?
This is public comment. This isn't a discussion. It's
I think everyone in this room would like to answer that
Yes,
question.
state your comments.
This is not a discussion time, sir. That was clear at the beginning.
No, there's rules that we all have to follow, our children have to follow. My daughter has to wear a mask 9 hours a day.
Sir.
I want to know why Ron DeSantis' children did not have to wear a mask in our schools.
Thank you.
I really would like an answer to that question. Like,
This
I
is-
really would. So can you please answer that question?
So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to just interrupt for a second. So, I've been doing this for a while, since I've been school board attorney. The same speech has been every single time. This is public input. Do you understand? I mean, I get the rhetorical flair
Well,
of asking questions.
Let me ask you a question.
when
When
the
do
board
we
doesn't
get
have
to
an
actually ask the
opportunity or
questions and get
requirement to
answers? Because I
respond?
sent multiple
Sir,
emails.
I don't want to have a debate with you. You're either called in order or not in order, but this is not interrogate the board time.
So when
Answer
do the
for
elected
board.
representatives answer the questions of the public?
Not during this part of the meeting.
But when?
This is not the place
But
for
when?
this discussion.
When? You only do 2 meetings a month, so when?
All right, we're not going to keep this up.